Here is my change story. We are back in Portland, Oregon, where we are now, except it is the year 1996. Youngsters who may have no idea what that year looked like. We do, and I do. And at that moment, I had moved to Portland about 4 years ago. And Portland was this sort of ridiculous magic city for me. I grew up in the Midwest and Cleveland, Ohio, to be specific, and left as soon as I finished grad school. My mom threw a dart at a map of the West Coast, and it hit Olympia, Washington. And she looked at me when I finished grad school, and she said, "I'm moving there. Do you want to come?" That's who my mom was. She was that kind of she's amazing. And I said, yeah, I'm done with grad school. I've got this degree as an art teacher. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm not even interested in teaching because I did my student teaching back in my old high school, which was the most sort of just soul-crushing experience because I got to be in the back room 4 years after I graduated with all my old teachers who were just like smoking cigarettes and just bad-mouthing all the kids. They were just miserable humans. So I was like, I don't want to be an art teacher. I'm going to get my car with my mom and drive to what I thought was Olympia, Washington. So we drive out to Olympia, but on the way, we get to Olympia, and Olympia's like, but then on the way, we'd been through Portland, like, that's kind of cool. So she just hits in reverse and goes backwards down the I-5 corridor, not really, all the way to Portland. And she ended up settling in Portland, and so did I. And Portland became this sort of magic city for me because, like, I met at the time the person that I was married to for like a huge amount of time, and I got my very first art commission, which was a huge project for me in Portland. But I was making my living selling t-shirts. That's what I did. I hand painted these giant crazy monsters on t-shirts, and I was doing great as like a weird t-shirt street artist. T-shirts have been a magical moment for me. So I'm at the Portland Saturday Market, which some of you may or may not know, and I'm selling t-shirts on a particular Saturday in 1996. Except here's the small caveat. The rules of Portland Saturday Market are the actual artists have to be there to sell their work. You cannot hire someone else. They're very interested in that authentic moment where people get to interact with the artist. I, on the other hand, wasn't such a huge fan of that rule. And so I had hired someone else to be me. They were literally impersonating me, and they were selling my t-shirts underneath the Burnside Bridge on a rainy March Saturday. I'm probably going to get in trouble now for telling that part of this story. So this is, I know about this happened in retrospect later, but this sort of balding British guy comes up to my t-shirt stand and gets really into the shirts. He's like, "This is amazing," except he uses the accent. "This is amazing." That's not a good one either. You have to help me with that. And so it's not one of my fortes is accent. So long story short, he's like, he buys a bunch of t-shirts. And then he says to impersonated Gary, "I really want to talk to you about commissioning a shirt." And this is when impersonation Gary, who is a guy named John, he goes, "Listen, buddy, I'm not really him." And so he gives this bald British guy my card, and he calls me. This is a guy named Rob, and Rob says, "I want to talk to you about a t-shirt. I want to commission one. Needs a spider on it. I'm part of this international consultancy of ad planners, and we're called Red Spider, and I want to send one to everybody around the world with it." And I'm like, "Oh my God, this is the most sexiest thing I've ever heard in my life, and you're British, which even makes it more authentic." And so we end up meeting, and this is the pivotal moment, we meet at the Three Lines Bakery on Southwest Morrison and 10th Street in Portland, Oregon. I know that's the bakery, and I know that's the address because it's what was below my mom's office. So my mom, connects everything, she decided to start a business in Portland instead of Olympia. And she was a librarian, pre-internet librarian. She would do document research retrieval, and she set up her little office there, and this was the coffee shop underneath it. So Rob and I meet, and again, he's this sort of British ad planner interested in a t-shirt, and I'm this t-shirt artist who does improv. That was my sidekick gig. And the reason I did improv was because I could never memorize scripts. It was my nemesis, but I really loved acting. And so I discovered improv, and I was like, oh my God, you can cheat and still do it. So I was like, let's do it. So Rob and I start to sit down, and we talk about a t-shirt. And the pivotal moment was when he said, "What else do you do besides t-shirts or drawings or paintings?" And I said, "Well, I do this improv thing." And that was the good lead. And here's the pivotal moment, which he said, really, how do you do it? Can anyone do it? And my answer was, and I think this is what changed the trajectory of my life, my answer was yes. Anyone can do this. It's just a number of skills and tools that you need to learn and practice. And then he said, how about 90 ad execs from an ad agency in Chicago in 1 month who are meeting in Tempe, Arizona to do workshops about collaboration. Now, I didn't even understand half the words he just said in that sentence. But the other pivotal moment was I said, sure, they could do that too. And so a month later, we went. And it was really funny. I was working with an improv group called Brainwaves at the time, which I know you're familiar with, Aiden. And we all just went down there, and we were just like, it was just such a classic sort of moment where we would be like, walking around the grounds looking like we knew what the hell we were doing. And then we get in the elevator and just go like, oh my God, they're going to find out. We don't know shit. But we did know shit. We knew a lot of shit. And improv was amazingly helpful. And that organization ended up just hiring us to come back and keep working. And that's when Rob decided, instead of being with the cool international consortium of ad planners, he would just start On Your Feet with me. He says, let's make this a business. And so I started, because of a t-shirt, I started a business with somebody, a Brit who lived in Spain at the time, who happened to be in Portland, around improv. And I can keep going, but I think that's a good, maybe good place to stop.